World-renowned Scottish medium Bill Coller was on Long Island recently. He did several guest appearances, including a workshop and a reading event with medium Richard Schoeller for his Summerland Church of Light in Hauppauge. Coller says his goal is to spread awareness and understanding of mediumship and to encourage people to develop their own spiritual abilities.
Everybody has intuitive awareness, and most people don't know how to tap into it. And I believe everything in intuitiveness. If you know how to open the door, if you have the key to open the door to it, then you can access more that you ever thought you were able to do. And so my job in a way is to try to make it simplistic as possible, that people can find their key, they can open their door, and they can get into their own intuitiveness. And in that way, they have access to the spiritual world themselves. So it's not just always becoming reliant upon a medium to provide that vehicle for them, but that they can empower themselves.
Schoeller says it was a great opportunity for him to learn and stretch himself as a medium as well by working with Coller.
Bill's a friend and a colleague and a mentor for me, and it's a privilege in my experience to have him here. Bill learned from a lot of old-time mediums. He's an excellent technical teacher of mediumship. He's been doing it for over 40 years, and it's an honor. It feels very, very special to have a man who could choose not to be here, could choose to be traveling anywhere else, but because he likes the people that he works with, and because he genuinely likes teaching mediumship, and because of our friendship and connection, he decides to come. I think people walk away from this workshop having a better sense of their own ability. Bill will not soft soap anything. He'll tell you like it is, and I think people really take that in. I think they reevaluate their own ability, and I feel that they walk away having a better understanding of themselves, their ability, and what tools they can use to better their ability. He pointed out something. I've always known it up here, but if you're given information through one of your senses, like let's say clairaudience, and you hear something, and if it doesn't make sense to the client, going back to the spirit world in conversation and saying, use one of my other senses to give me another piece about this. Because many times, well, because there have been times where I will get a piece of information, I'll go back to the spirit world, and let's say I hear it clairaudiently, I'll say, well, they're telling me this, and they're telling me this. I never really thought to say, oh, well, show me something too. Because they could visually, clairvoyantly show me something that's going to shift it, and I'll be able to piece it together. That was great. That was great information. So that's a tool that I took away from today's workshop.
Among the workshop attendees, author Kerriann Flanagan Brosky and medium Joe Giaquinto, well known for their work on the Ghosts of Long Island book series and for their weekly blog talk radio program, the Kerriann and Joe Show Spirit Connection.
It was a wonderful experience to come here today and listen to Bill Coller. This is the third time that I've attended his workshop. And for me, with the books I've written, the Ghosts of Long Island series, it's a journey. I mean, everything I've done with the book has been a journey, and this is, for me, a continuation of that journey by listening to him and learning about my own clairaudience and realizing that anyone can, you know, have these, use these techniques and get information from the other side. So, a lot to gain here. I found out that I was able to do a reading for a couple of people. And again, I don't consider myself someone who's gifted, so it was really a great experience that I was able to use the tools that I learned today from Bill, apply them, and get some information for some people.
Every single thing that he says is a gift and a tip. Everything he says is meaningful. And I think for me, the challenge is to go out and not just do what's easy, but to take his information and use it to become a better medium, and to challenge myself and the spirits to come up with a good communication system that allows us to help our clients with their problems and give them solutions that they can take away from the reading with. We practice our clairaudience, clairsentience, and clairvoyance. I had 2 out of 3 connections that worked well. One was a little challenging, and I had to think out of the box and was able to finally make the right connection. And it's again, it's a challenging thing to do, but that's why we're here. It's not just to come here and just, you know, pat each other on the back and say how great a medium are. It's just to say what we need help working on and to get better at. I think what will influence me from this workshop will be creating a little more structured system as to setting the boundaries and the ground rules for how I want the spirits to communicate with me, rather than just waiting for the information to come. I think that was the key thing today, is that we have to control the mediumship process, not be a passive attendant at that event, because then we're not really helping anyone, including ourselves, with the process of communication.
And Coller says even after 40 years of practicing and teaching these mediumship skills, he still can't claim to have all the answers.
There's not such a thing as a developed medium. It doesn't exist. There's only people who think they're developed, but you never developed. So you're learning every day a new way of managing information and a new way of communicating with people. So none of us are the font of all knowledge. We're just all learners in the process of life.
The next day, Bill Coller and Richard Schoeller held a joint mediumship demonstration event.
I'm here because I want to bring in what you would term in an Americanism, evidential mediumship. I believe the general public today cannot separate the difference between the psychic and the role of the psychic and the role of the evidential medium, and that there is a very clear and distinctive role in that the psychic will mostly just push their attention towards the client and their daily routines and what's happening to them, and the evidential medium will push towards the evidence of stimulating the idea of life after death and how that bereavement process can be better managed and understood. I focus on the bereavement side in the sense that I want evidential mediumship to be brought to the minds of people so that those people who have a problem, have a question, have a loss, can at least find a solution towards resolving the questions that they have about their loss. Whether they end up believing it or not remains to be seen. That's personal choice, but at least they have a choice in the management of it.
And both mediums talked about their respect for each other as friends and colleagues, often displayed in a playful, comedic way.
He's a man who looks for evidence. He works with the spirit communicator, and he's one of the best technical teachers of mediumship. For us to have somebody of his renown, in all honesty, here working with us, to me, is an absolute privilege.
I feel the start point is Richard and I are friends. There is no question about that, and I have a tremendous respect for the quality of his mediumship. In my opinion, and it's a personal opinion, in what I've experienced of American mediumship, and I've only been a medium for just over 40 years, so I'm relatively new at it, I feel in terms of competency, he's the most competent American medium. Competency. I'm not talking about the glitz, the glamour, the BS that often comes across in presentation of mediumship. I'm talking about content and competency. Then for me, he's the best American medium I've come across.
I'd call it playfulness. Bill and I have this friendship that is based on teasing the daylights out of each other. Well, more than just based on that, but we really enjoy teasing the daylights out of each other. It's a dear friendship, and his humor, if he's not teasing me, then I know something's wrong.
Some people are just born with natural skills and talents. Some people find their talents latently. Some people are never exposed to the opportunity of finding their talents. So some of us are clearly more gifted than others in certain areas. I'm really not an esoteric medium, so I'm not going into this stuff of, you know, in past lives you were this and in past lives you were that. I don't believe it proves anything about anything. The reality is, whether it's in your genetic coding, whether it's in your culture and your upbringing, or whether it's just a skill that you find, the answer is you find it. And then it's all down to how you develop it, how you understand it, and how you use it. And some people can be quite ordinary as a medium, but be very skilled in the way they use that ordinary element. And of course, in connection with that, it should always be used with competency and with integrity. So you can be very, very talented as a medium, but not have integrity in the way you use it. So it's a combination of talent, skill, and integrity.
For more information about Coller and mediums, you can check out the website BillColler.com. In Hauppauge, Chris Collora reporting.